We're live. Hey guys, welcome to my first ever live stream. Woo-hoo. This is kind of crazy. All right, I'm gonna wait a little bit for you guys to hop into the live stream. The reason that we're doing these is because I put out a podcast episode every month and I put it out into the world and I don't really know what you guys are thinking. I don't get a chance to interact with you live and to really understand how this episode lands. So I'm going live on every month, once a month, to talk about these different topics that we talk about on the podcast. So our system is going to be, first we put out the episode and then a week or two later, we go live to get your interaction and your feedback. So I'm really looking forward to doing these. And this is the first one. And before we start, I just want to say that my content manager, Natalie, is on the back end. So you might hear her voice sometimes. She's going to help me moderate some of these comments. I really want this to be super interactive. So please put a lot of comments. Tell me where you're logging in from. I would love to know. This is my chance to interact with you live. I don't get to do this a lot, so please comment, ask questions throughout the whole thing. This is the whole point of this show. All right. And what I wanted to say is this topic of credibility is really current, and it might seem intangible or soft skills, but why I wanted to talk about it is we have the US elections coming up on November 3rd. We had the Jamaican elections on September 4th, so a few weeks ago. We have people who are losing their jobs and in the job market and trying to up their visibility and up their personal brand and trying to get jobs right now. We have people who are trying to keep their jobs and have to become really credible and well recognized in their companies in order to keep their jobs. And so this issue of how to become more credible is really pertinent right now. And I wanted to make sure that we spend some time talking about it. But we have a lot of other topics that we've been brainstorming for future episodes. So next month, we're thinking about doing how will jobs become obsolete? Will artificial intelligence make all jobs obsolete? And what does that mean when we now separate work and jobs from earning an income? And I actually think that future is going to be very interesting. So hopefully that topic is interesting to you guys. Let me know. Another thing that we're thinking of doing next month, another option is should jobs become borderless, right? So I have a lot of clients right now who are looking at remote positions in Europe, in the US, in Asia. And a question that comes up is sometimes those jobs are restricted to the country of residence of the job seeker. And now in the age of the post-pandemic world, the new normal, should jobs become disentangled from the country of origin so that all jobs are available to all people, no matter where you're resident in the world. So these are some of these really interesting, cool topics that are top of mind for me. And if you have anything that you want to hear us talk about at Soul Career, let us know. Send us in the comments, send us an email, because we are actively looking for ideas. Okay, so if you don't know me, right before we jump in, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm Lisandra Goods. I am the co-founder and CEO of Soul Career, and we help connect professionals and executives to meaningful work that is a perfect match for their personality. And we help them to build powerful legacies through their body of work. So if you want to become a client of ours, I'll tell you a little bit about how to do that at the end of today's session, which will only be about half an hour long or so. All right. So welcome again. Let me know where you're calling in from. Hi, Abigail. Welcome from Jamaica. And let me know, all of you guys, type to me because this is about interacting with me live. This is why we're doing this. So I want to hear from you. Where are you coming in from? And any questions that you have. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to go for about half an hour today, and we just finished the intro, and I'm going to go through some of the concepts and frameworks around credibility that I discussed in the podcast episode. We'll go through that pretty quickly because what I really want to get to is your questions. So we're going to be answering your questions throughout this entire session, and we want to make sure that this is focused around you and the interaction with me. All right? All right, so we're going to start with, before we can think about how we can become more credible ourselves, I want us to start by asking how we determine if someone else is credible, right? So this will give us insights into how we judge others and help us to understand, okay, how are others judging us and how do we judge ourselves? And that will create this awareness that will then allow us to come up with a framework for how we can become more credible ourselves. All right. Hi, Charlene from Trinidad. Welcome. Joining from LinkedIn. I love it. I love it. All right. So on the podcast episode, I talked about my framework for determining whether someone else is credible, right? So what results has this person gotten in their own life? How prepared are they? Are they coming with data and facts, or are they just telling me their opinion that's not based on anything but their opinion? And their style of delivery matters a lot in when I'm determining if I should give my time and attention to someone else, right? So if your style of delivery is very panicky and very high strung, I tend to just tune out. I can't even listen to what you have to say, right? But if you're more soulful and powerful and confident, then you have my full attention. And then the other criteria that I use is integrity. Do your words and actions align, right? Can I look at your body of work and see authenticity, alignment, and someone who puts their money where their mouth is? So all these four factors really pour into how I judge others as being credible. So do you agree? Is there anything that you would add to this list or subtract from this list? When you're looking at someone else, how do you determine if they're credible? Jillian watching from Jamaica. Hi, welcome guys. All right, so let me know, how do you, when you're judging someone else, determine if they're credible? And I thought we could start with this really fun exercise where we look at public figures, and I'm going to get more controversial as we go through this exercise, and say, do we think they're credible? Why or why not, right? So former First Lady Michelle Obama. I think universally people think she's credible, right? If you agree, just type yes, you agree. And why is that? Why do we think Michelle Obama is so credible? Is it her integrity, her style of delivery, very purposeful, very soulful, very authentic? She's very prepared, right? She went to Harvard Law School, Princeton undergrad. She's worked in law. She's worked in public service. She was in the mayor's office in Chicago, if you read her book, Becoming, as well as she was an administrator at the University of Chicago, where I went to undergrad. So very prepared and has a lot of amazing results in her life. So Yolanda, hi. So you agree that Michelle Obama is very credible. And as we go through this exercise, I want you to think about why, how do you rank these different criteria? So for me, so Jillian says, definitely. Hi, Sean, welcome. Definitely credible. All right, so we have some more controversial ones coming up, but here's another easy one. Richard Branson. Do you think Richard Branson is credible? Yes? Why or why not? So I'm going to say something that maybe you'll disagree with, which is Richard's style of delivery is why people pay attention to him, right? He has done these crazy things in his life, tried to travel around the world in a hot air balloon, was in a high-speed motorboat. He's done bungee jumping off the top of a building. So that style and that approach is what captured your attention with Richard, right? So that would be number one, how we paid attention to him. And then number two, we look at the results he's gotten in his life. He's built over, the Virgin brand stretches across, I think, 100 or more companies in hotels and airlines and rocket ships going to space, right? So the results he's gotten, his preparation. So his background is, I think he just went to high school. He didn't go to college. He dropped out of high school and started his first business when he was a teenager, which was a mail order business, and then went into music, and then went into airlines and hotels and space and trains and all over the place. So like Jillian says, Richard walks the talk, and that's what makes him credible. All right. Next one, getting a little more controversial here. Kim Kardashian. Right? Hi, Siobhan. Hi. Okay. So, guys, do you view Kim Kardashian as credible? I'm very curious to hear what you have to say, because Kim is now expanding into law. She's getting people out of prison. There was a big story that came out yesterday about Kim, where she joined the Instagram boycott. So she is not posting on Instagram or Facebook for the next 24 or 48 hours because she's protesting against misinformation and lies being spread through social media, right? So is Kim Kardashian credible in your mind? So Jillian is like, sigh, I don't think so. Siobhan is saying she's credible when it comes to beauty. Yes. So it depends on what context we're thinking about her, right? So in beauty, in fashion, she's very credible and actually a huge influencer, and is able to command millions of dollars to a product if she puts her brand behind it. So in some spheres, she is extremely credible. And in others, perhaps the legal sphere that she's now jumping into, she's studying for a law degree right now. You may not find her as credible yet, but I think that's still to be determined. So if we rank her, right, style of delivery is probably why a lot of people just immediately shut down from Kim Kardashian. But here Jillian is agreeing, right? So I don't care for her platform or her style, but she has grown, and I'm trying to remain open-minded. So this exercise helps us to understand, why are we judging? Why do we block people and not trust them? And why do we trust other people? How do we rank these criteria ourselves, right? So style of delivery comes up a lot. I think it's the first thing that we see, and it's the first filter that we use to determine if someone is credible or not. And now when we flip that and think, how can we become more credible? We have to understand that style of delivery matters a lot. All right, so let's move on to someone in Jamaica, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. We're getting into politics, so I don't want to get too much into this, but the Jamaican elections were a referendum on credibility, really. And resoundingly, people are saying the results of the election shows that our Jamaican Prime Minister was more credible than his opponent. And the reason, based on Twitter, that a lot of people are saying is because he got results that the opposition leader did not get. So credibility matters a lot in this arena. So tell me, you guys who are familiar with Andrew Holness, how would we rank this criteria for him? I think results matter a lot, and I think style of delivery matters a lot for him. So, and preparation, I guess he's changed a lot too. And of course, we cannot have a discussion on credibility without referencing the US President, Donald Trump. I'm not going to get into the controversy here, but I will say for you guys that there are millions of people who view Donald Trump as credible. That is a fact. Millions of people do. And there are many millions of people who view him as not credible. So this issue of credibility, I'm really challenging you to think about, why do so many people view Donald Trump as credible? And why do so many people fall on the other side? And one thing that I'm going to put forward is Donald's style of delivery was what catapulted him into national politics, right? So what I will say here is that when Donald Trump came to the forefront in the Republican Party, it was because his style of delivery was he was willing to say what nobody else in the room was willing to say, for better or worse. And that caused people to really pay attention to him, because they were tired of politicians that were speaking down to them or hyper intellectualizing everything or being condescending. They were tired of being talked at to by politicians. And what grabbed everyone's attention with Donald Trump was his style of delivery. So again, style of delivery matters a lot with credibility. I won't say much more on that. Just to challenge your thinking and really examine how you are judging others and how other people are judging them differently from you. Because though your filter in the world is not going to be the same as somebody else's filter, right? Okay, so Abigail, you agree his style of delivery is actually what caused him to become the US president, in my opinion, right? Yolanda has a great comment. He does have amazing self-belief and he knows how to manifest his dreams, but his credibility is shot. Yes. Yes, and that comes down to the other criteria that we haven't talked much about, which is integrity. The words and the actions being aligned, showing compassion for other people who are different from who you are. That integrity is a huge filter in terms of credibility. Yeah, right. Sherland, completely agree. While you're not a fan of Donald, he definitely commands credibility due to his willingness to speak without a filter. Exactly. But that filter for us, so style of delivery catapulted him to the top. But that issue of integrity is what is so divisive for a lot of people, including myself. Okay, so now we've looked at how we filter for other people. Let's talk about how we can become more credible, more visible, more authentic, more powerful, more trustworthy in the public domain ourselves as we seek to raise funding if we're an entrepreneur. Let me know if you're an entrepreneur in the comments. Or if you're seeking a job, how can I be better and position myself better than other candidates that are applying for similar positions, right? The job market is so competitive right now. You have to become more visible and more credible to stand out. If you're currently in a job, very lucky to have a steady, stable income and health insurance right now. How can I maintain my position? How can I maintain my job? How can I become more credible, become recognized as an expert? And hold on to the job that I have? A lot of people are asking that question right now. And when you are going to vote in elections, or if you have voted recently, how can I ensure that I am voting according to my values, right? So let us come up with a framework for becoming more credible ourselves. Okay, so the first question that we need to ask ourselves in thinking about becoming more credible is, what do I want to be credible in? Where do I want to develop my expertise? What do I want to be recognized as an expert in? And this is a very hard question for a lot of people to answer, because you have to start with the end in mind. You have to start with, what is the vision that I have for my life? And then work backwards into, okay, if I want to manifest that vision, how does my work align with that vision? And what body of work will I create in what subject matter, right? So answering the question of what do I want to become credible in is really important. And in this age of everyone being online and developing an online personal brand in the post-pandemic era, I have to say that one of the biggest things that diminishes credibility is jumping around from all over the place. So I see a lot of content that is empty content. I see a lot of content that's just, I have no idea who this person is and what they stand for and what their mission is. And so immediately I have a block on giving that person my trust and attention. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. So that's the first step. And then we want to follow this framework that I talk about on the podcast episode. I hope you're a subscriber to the Soul Career Podcast. And the framework is research first, become very prepared. Don't just have an opinion about something, but actually back it up in fact, okay? That is the first step to becoming more credible, especially in this era of misinformation and fake news. You want to be the person that stands out because you are coming from a well-researched position. Then you want to synthesize that research through the filter of your own experiences and your own background and your diversity of experiences. You don't want to just regurgitate what you've read or what you've researched. You want to put your own stamp on it and your own authenticity. And then, okay, hi Mario. Yes, great point, which is you have to start at the end in order to understand what you want to be an expert in, for sure. All right, I'm glad you were able to join, Mario. So after you synthesize what you've researched, then you want to get feedback on it. That's what I'm doing on this live stream right now. I'm coming out to you guys who listen to the podcast or who are just joining me live and getting your feedback. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? That's why I'm here, because I'm getting feedback. And then you can also build your credibility by strengthening your network. So if you have a network of credible people around you, automatically your credibility is enhanced as well, right? Okay, so just some quick theory on how to do this primary research. So I was a researcher. That was my first job. I did a lot of research for the book Super Freakonomics, and I did statistical regressions in Stata. I was a data nerd in the first iteration of my life. And so I have to explain, primary research is about being the person that collects the data yourself, right? So you go out and you survey people, you do interviews, and then you have that raw data and you conduct your own analysis and develop your own insights from that raw data. That's what primary research is. So big companies do a lot of primary research themselves. Your other option is what all of us do, which is we do secondary research. We review research that was put out by other people. So I go to Harvard Business Review a lot. I go to McKinsey a lot. McKinsey just put out this amazing report on purpose in organizations and how to develop purpose for your company, for your team, and how that increases productivity and performance. And purpose is no longer this intangible, airy-fairy, nice to have. It's a must in the post-pandemic world, right? And this is scientific proof. They give evidence and hard facts how purpose works in organizational performance. So I read that report, and now I'm going to synthesize it and put out my own comments on purpose and performance. And that, my friends, is secondary research. So guys, are you doing this in your own companies and in your workplace? Are you doing either primary or secondary research, or are you just giving opinion? Ask yourself that question when you think about how to become more credible. Any comments? Any thoughts? All right. So then, of course, you take this research that you've done and you synthesize it through the lens of your experience and your background. And many of us, there's a dichotomy between the range of experience that we have versus the depth of experience that we have, right? So wide range of things. So I started at Freakonomics as a researcher, and then I went into finance, heavy finance out on Wall Street and in Jamaica. And then I went into entrepreneurship and startups, and now I'm in talent management and talent development, right? So that's a range of things. But in any one thing, I try to develop some deep expertise in each area. So I was at the Branson Center with entrepreneurs for 7 years. So all of that experience, that range and that depth, I synthesize now, and I'm able to bring that to bear when I'm creating content presentations, when I'm interacting with my clients, when I'm coaching them in their own workplace. All of that comes into it, right? And you should do the same as well to build your credibility. And then, of course, getting feedback, presenting, testing, talking with colleagues, posting on social media, doing a live stream, and really connecting with the people that you're talking to, the audience for your expertise, and really trying to get their feedback and understand if what you're saying is working. So Jillian is saying she's an academic and she does research as part of her career, but she never thought about using it in the personal space for personal benefit. Absolutely. Right? So a lot of us in the pre-pandemic world, it was fine to be behind the scenes and to have low visibility. But things have changed so much and so dramatically that my prediction is that if you're not visible, your likelihood of getting a new job, a new career, getting that client, getting that partnership is going to go down over time. Because in this post-pandemic world, visibility and putting yourself out there matters a lot. And if you are, hi, Matt. Matt was at HBS with me. He was in my section. Hi, Matt. Thank you so much. So he loves the case studies and the frameworks. Awesome, Matt. Thank you for joining. Great to see you. Right? So if you're still concerned about being behind the scenes, I think coming out of the pandemic, we're going to see people who are invisible online are going to not be as effective at work. That is my prediction. Let me know if you agree or you disagree. But if you're invisible online, you're not going to be as effective as an entrepreneur, as a professional, as a politician, as an executive, as you were in the pre-pandemic world. Do you agree? Let me know. Okay. So the final step is the strength of your network enhances your own credibility. And I said this on Instagram in one of my IGTV videos where before I got my MBA from Harvard Business School, my credibility was not that great, right? I was this young girl that nobody would listen to, even though at the time I worked in government. Actually, one of my projects was developing the junior stock exchange for Jamaica. That was my project when I worked at the Ministry of Finance. I wasn't taken as seriously then. And then I spent 2 years at HBS and got my MBA. And after that, my credibility went through the roof. And what had happened was this brand and this network enhanced my own credibility tremendously. Same thing happened for entrepreneurs that came to the Branson Center. Having Richard Branson Center of Entrepreneurship behind your name immediately made you more recognized and more credible as an entrepreneur and more interesting to funding partners, etc. So I highly recommend that you spend some time building your network, surrounding yourself with other credible people and other credible brands to open doors for you. And this network can give you mentorship and act as a sounding board as well. I'm seeing some really great comments here. So let's put Jillian up on the screen again. Oh, yes. Post-pandemic world. Absolutely. Visibility matters a lot for credibility. If you're invisible online, you're going to be invisible in the workplace in the post-pandemic world is my prediction. And then Oman, hi Oman Martinez from Costa Rica, hola. You agree with me as well, fantastic. Viví en España por un año, entonces puedo hablar español también. Hola Oman. Okay, so then summarizing this credibility framework, we have research, synthesis, feedback, and your network, right? Now let's put this framework for building our own credibility. Let's put that beside our framework for how others judge us as credible. So remember how we judge others as credible: results, preparation, style of delivery, and integrity, right? So when we look at these side by side, we realize that the credibility framework for building our own credibility really speaks to preparation. It just speaks to one part of how others will view us as credible. So this framework, research, synthesis, feedback, network, does not touch on results, style of delivery, or integrity. And what I want to impart to you guys is that your style of delivery matters a lot. So if you were on with us in that first section where we went through the case studies and tried to determine who we viewed as credible and who we don't view as credible, the biggest insight is that the style of delivery was the most important thing, right? First, and then integrity. How does this person's actions align with what they say? And do we trust them? And do they operate with trust in their own environment? And then the results that they've gotten matter a lot. So if you've done all this preparation and have followed our framework, but you don't have a great delivery style, you need to work on that. If you don't have integrity, you definitely need to work on that. And you need to work on getting results and tracking those results, because results matter a lot. So we're coming up to the end of our live stream, but let me just say, in order to become credible, we have to combine the preparation, research, synthesis, feedback, and or network with results or delivery style and integrity to become a more credible and more effective individual. All right, that's it. So did I miss any questions? Do you have any questions for me that I haven't answered yet in the live stream? Let me know. Type. I want to know. What do you think? What are your thoughts? Give me your feedback. And while you're putting your thoughts in the screen, okay, so we actually got some questions ahead of time, which Natalie is reminding me of. One of them is, how do I deal with a boss who I don't find credible, right? So this is a question we get a lot from our clients, and it is a very hard situation. Let me start by saying that. So if you have a boss that you don't find credible, you have to manage that boss. And you'll have to, all right, let me take off Siobhan for the time being. So you will have to determine, you will have to use that framework of preparation, synthesis, feedback, etc. You're going to have to coach your boss, prepare, get your data and your facts, and you have to win him over first to get on the same page before you can even go outside of your department. So if you have a boss that you don't find credible, you have to learn how to manage and coach upwards. And style of delivery matters a lot in that situation, because you don't want your boss to feel undermined or threatened by you. That will create a very toxic environment. Your delivery style has to be supportive, a team player, working together. And then you present your boss, you make your boss look good, and they will trust you more, and you create a better relationship that way. But that being said, the number one reason most people leave their jobs is a bad boss, right? An ineffective boss at work. So if after you've done all of those things and it's still not working, you'll have to start looking at another team in the same company or another company. All right, so we have some questions here. Siobhan from Trinidad. Hi, Siobhan. Okay, so what can we do to improve our own delivery style? Excellent question. Well, after you do your preparation, etc., for me, preparation always comes first. Then I would find a friend and deliver and either write. It depends. Are you writing? Are you on video? Are you in person delivering? Are you making a presentation? Take someone aside and practice with them first and get feedback. Get feedback and incorporate that feedback and try again. When I was applying for Bain & Company in New York City, this is management consulting in New York, I did 23 practice interviews, 23 mock interviews before I went into the real interview, okay? I found 23 people at Harvard Business School, and maybe Matt, who was on earlier, was one of them, to interview me, give me feedback, tell me how I can be better, right? And I interviewed at McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. And that feedback, that constant practice and constant feedback was what made me better at delivery, okay? So that would be my answer there, Siobhan. Who's next? All right, great. Mike, great question. What if you mess up your credibility, how do you fix it? Yeah, great question, Mike. And actually, we had gotten this question before as well. How do you fix something when your credibility has been shot? I always say go back to the process. So let me go back to that slide. You have to build a new body of work from scratch. And you can always rebuild your credibility, in my opinion, as long as you start operating with integrity, change your delivery style and be consistent with this new style, and then do the preparation, research, synthesis, feedback, and build your network again, build it all back to get the results that you want. Let's go back to this Kim Kardashian example, right? So Kim Kardashian has a tape out there in the world that destroyed her credibility when she was very young. And she has now worked really hard and is continuing to work to become more and more credible over time, right? So Kim Kardashian is now studying her to be a lawyer and getting her law degree, and is now being an advocate against misinformation on Facebook, we saw yesterday. And she is following all of this work to rebuild her credibility when it's shot. And that's my answer to you as well, Mike, which is follow the process. Go back to the process and follow it. And over time, you will rebuild your credibility. Yes, uplink solutions, the willingness to do the work is critical. I actually want to make a comment on this because in my client group, right, let's say last week I was coaching my group of clients and I showed my interview preparation document. And now I am intense when it comes to preparing for interviews. So I had 10 pages of preparation for an interview that I did when I was deciding to leave the brand Lisandra. And my clients were like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. I can't prepare like that. And my answer to that is you have to do the work. You cannot resist the work if you want the result, okay? You cannot have a block against the work if you want the result. You have to do it. So thank you for that comment. Uplink Solutions, TT. I have a lot of Trinis on the call. Yeah. I think there was one more question that I saw. How can we improve or did we answer everything, Natalie? I think so.
Yes, we've answered most of them. There is another one by Sherland, which says, how do you undo previous lack of credibility, which is pretty similar to the question by Mike.
Okay, right? I love this comment from Olman in Costa Rica, which is likability plus credibility bundled into a wonderful pack for success nowadays. True. Likability is important. But you know what? I would say controversy is also interesting. People who are not that likable have a lot of visibility too. You just have to have the stamina and the guts to go in that direction. But when I post something controversial on Twitter, I get way more viral. I get more viral than if I post something that everyone agrees with and that everyone finds likable, right? So there is a trade-off between being bland and everyone likes you versus actually taking a stand, saying what you really believe, and being able to stand up to the controversy that ensues. That can actually enhance your brand a lot as well. Okay, so if we finished with all the questions, I will just end by talking a little bit about what we do at Soul Career. I know a lot of you want to become our clients. We have amazing results with the clients. I love our group of clients. We have a few on them on this session right now. Hi, guys. We just have this bond. So Soul Career is for career transitioners who are looking to find a job that matches their personality and that lights them up from the inside out, and that they can craft into a legacy and a body of work that really represents who they are and what they've been put on this earth to achieve, right? So that's what we do. We help you to find your soul career. And it is a group coaching and online course. So you do some videos. You also get once a week live coaching calls with me every Thursday or Friday for my European clients. And we get some amazing, amazing results. So if you want to find out more about the program and becoming one of my clients, just head on over to join.soulcareer.com. We have a lot of information there. We have great pricing plans, payment plans, if you want to sign up. So I hope I see some of you in the program starting on Monday. So that's it. Did you guys enjoy this? Type yes if you enjoy this. We're going to be doing this once a month. We're going to start with the podcast episode. So make sure you're subscribed to the Soul Career Podcast. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, right? And then we're going to do a live discussion after the podcast so that we can get the feedback and the interaction with you guys. So thank you so much for joining. Andrew, you were on this too. Hi. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. And I will see you next month. And let me know what you want to talk about next month. We're actively seeking ideas for new podcast episodes, which will then translate into our next live monthly session. Awesome. Thank you guys. And we will see you same time, same place next month. Bye. Let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, very informative. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Okay, and I see a private comment. So yes, if you want to join us, join.soulcareer.com. You can find out a lot more about our program there. Siobhan, thank you. Okay, bye guys.